findings on health effects of air pollution in Southern California. These are all studies that have been done by USC and UCLA on Southern California children or adults. There's an increased percentage of children with abnormal lungs who grow up in polluted communities. There are increased school absences related to air pollution, more asthma in children living near busy roads and freeways, more premature and low birth weight babies in mothers living near traffic, an elevated risk of heart disease and cardiovascular mortality in adults related to fine particle exposure, and evidence of ultrafine particles being more toxic than the other particles. And there are a lot of ultrafine particles that come out of diesel exhaust. So these are very compelling health studies. We also are concerned about diesel because it's a toxic air contaminant and a carcinogen. Diesel was declared a toxic air contaminant in 1998 because it causes cancer. And it was declared a toxic air contaminant because of studies in workers, railroad workers, truck drivers, dock workers. And what are these workers? These are workers who handle cargo containers. They're people who are working in the goods movement and ports industry.
He suggested that we impose container fees on loaded containers moving in and out of the ports. His container fee legislation would have generated about $500 million every year for environmental mitigation, for improvement in security. The legislation was adopted by the legislature. It was vetoed by the governor. We hope that Senator Lowenthal will come back with a new version of this. That the shipper expects the company who owns the shoes to pay for the container fees, and then the container fees then form part of the cost of the shoes that are sold to the public. And that's if retail consumers pay container fees. My question for you is, doesn't it seem fair and just and reasonable that someone buying a pair of shoes in Chicago came through these ports should pay a few pennies to help us with these problems? I think they should.
That has the medical community locally, as it recognizes the diesel death zone related illnesses, begun to prescribe something like moving to Arizona for patients to breathe better air and live longer?
That's not something that our scientists have actually recommended to people. But when you do look at we've been studying 12 communities, and when you look at Long Beach, it is in the, sort of on that graph, it's in the part of the graph that is always higher in terms of whatever the health problems are. And if you're looking at proximity to traffic, and you know that our studies are showing that asthma is higher when children are living closer to traffic. Long Beach is part of that picture that's, creating the push towards that traffic.
Persons that are shoving the stuff through our door. So what do? The air gets worse, the living conditions get worse. I know it's a question you can't answer right now.
I will say that now, what we need to do is the ports have done a great job in their clean air action plan. We've just got to make sure it's implemented, and that's all I'm here to say is I will help to find the resources that you can do the job to do it. But you've got to do it, and we've got to keep their feet to the fire because they are doing it. My job, so that what we need to do is to keep the momentum going. It's just growing. It's going to change if we keep the pressure on. That's really what we're doing here tonight too. Keep the pressure on and demand it. And I think you're right. If we don't keep the pressure on, the consequences are unspeakable because the alternatives are terrible. This is like, we had, and I hate to make this analogy because I feel so badly about it, but when we had the horrible incident of terrorist attack in this nation in 2001, we lost 3,000 people. 3,500 people. And it was a major attack upon this nation. We lose that many people here in Southern California, do this for 2 to 3 years. Every 3 years, and it keeps growing. This is worse than any other thing that I can imagine. This is a major, major thing that we have to hold our feet to the fire. And I'm just doing one part, but if it doesn't work, what I'm doing, the communities will stand up and do something more. There will be somebody that follows.
Oh, that's fine.
Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on.